there's only one. Why this podcast? To me, She Built Success is for the multifaceted woman. The woman who knows there's more, but might not know how to get to that more. It's for the woman who really wants to live life to its fullest. The driven, the dedicated, the persistent, the I'm not taking no until I get it this way woman. She Built Success is not just about me. You're going to get to learn some of the people that I get to interact with in my life, people that I find interesting, topics that I find interesting, discussions that I want to have. I created She Built Success because it's more than just me. She Built Success is you too. Success to me is not defined by numbers or accolades or titles for that matter. Success to me changes as well. It changes with the accomplishments or seasons of life. I want you to challenge yourself and really think about what success means to you. Not what others told you it should be, not what you think it might be, not what social media says it should be. What does success really look like for you? Write it down, journal about it, type it out, record yourself, sing. There's so many modalities that you can say what success means to you. Do that. Because until you get clear on what success is for you, these bold moves are not going to mean anything. These bold moves won't hold any weight. These bold moves will not push you forward. They will actually hold you back because you're not clear. So instead of blaming someone else, look at yourself, define success so that we can do it together. I am not defined by my life circumstances. They only contribute to who I am. Now that's the end of the quote. I'm going into this part because I'm not defined by a title. I have many titles. I'm multifaceted. I'm a mom. I'm a partner. I'm a student pilot. I'm a nonprofit founder. I'm a CEO. And in all of that, you can still have more. You can still have success. And not to the point of burnout, not to the point of stretching yourself thin. Know your limits, but know that when you're operating in those limits, there are others that depend on you. There are others that are looking to you, whether it's for encouragement, an uplifting hand, a word of prayer, thanks, to set you straight and check you because you got them friends too. Let's talk about success in career because I intentionally chose my career. My career for me was in IT. Still is. I seem to have a knack for choosing fields that are less represented for Black women. Aviation is another one, which is one of my hobbies. But in both of those modalities, in aviation and in tech, I made sure to blaze a trail, if you will, pave the path. In aviation, I formed a nonprofit called Black Girls Fly. Black Girls Fly is intended to help the underrepresented and the underserved get into aviation, get back into aviation, and go from private pilot all the way up to airline transport pilot. And that was something that I did not out of myself or out of something that I just felt, I want to be known for, but because I saw there was a lack and I get pissed off, I get frustrated, I get annoyed when I don't see us succeed. I get upset when I feel like we're done wrong. That's both from a tech experience because I did not have any mentors growing up that looked like me. It was me. Now it's a little bit different. There's definitely some executives out there, but then, no. So what did I do? I created my own path, and I challenge you to do the same. Stop taking advice at face value and do your research. Success does not come overnight. You have to be willing to put in the work. You have to be willing to shift your mindset. But you don't need me here for rah-rahs and you can do it because I know you can do it. What you need me here for is the how. What strategies are we going to do? What tactics? What are the results? What outcomes should I be considering? What did I forget? What am I not thinking about? How can I make what I'm doing better? How can I achieve more? Not more to the point of burnout, because that is not the point of this platform, but more enriched life, more living, less being and doing, but rather being in the moments, living life to its fullest, redefining success for you. So it's not always going to be nice, neat, and in a package or, with a bow, but sometimes it'll be a little bit deconstructed. Deconstructed entrees and stuff is a thing now. So it's a little bit deconstructed as we go down this journey together. But I want you to think about how you're being impacted or what impact you're bringing to the world or to your space, to your circle, to your family, to your friends, to your coworkers, or whatever environment you're in. Because with that, I promise you, you'll see a pattern of the gifts and a pattern of what you're good at. So as I'm still trying to figure out what that looks like, what that means for me, I encourage you to think about what that means for you as well. Because if one thing is for sure, success is not built alone. You cannot be by yourself. Get in a community so that you can support each other, so that you can be there for each other, so you can bounce ideas off. No shady stuff. I'm not about that life over here, but just something that you're not just sitting there in isolation thinking about for your own self. You need to build and be in that community. She Built Success as a podcast is about bringing on guests that share their version of success, what it looks like, how they failed, some of the challenges that they faced, and how they eventually overcome. And while in some of the discussions with guests, it'll be through the journey and through the lens of an in-progress work, I am happy to continue to share the strategies of how She Built Success will work for your business and for your career. As a mom of 2 teenagers who decided post-pandemic to take on sports, so now I'm a sports mom, I definitely have to find this thing that folks like to call balance. But I'll say I don't believe in balance. And on She Built Success, it's always about a give and a take. It's about wanting to do something for you, but then also realizing that you're trying to grow a company, you're trying to grow a career, you're trying to grow your business. She Built Success as a podcast is something that I wanted to be able to put forth to build community. I feel like sometimes we get so stuck in the day-to-day of what life is, of trying to grow a business, that we forget about our community, those that help uplift, support, and love on one another, kind of like friends. So I decided to say, well, why can't I be your Bold Moves bestie? She Built Success is intended for just that, to allow you to come fully as you. And while I know every episode may not resonate with you, and that is quite all right, I just would like for you as a listener to continue to take away key nuggets, points, an aha moment. Maybe I jog a memory or two for you based on my stories and my guest experiences. But She Built Success has never been a platform for just me. While it's called She Built Success, and I continue to share my journey of how I've gotten to where I am and how I continue to move forward, it's also intended to share with you. So there'll be moments where I ask you to weigh in. What's your question? Send us an email. DM me. The actions are not limitless. I would love to be able to carry on those conversations with you as my guests and listeners and talk about the things that you face within your life. I didn't want one dimension, and I know I keep harping on that, but it just felt like whenever you tune in or you push play in other podcasts, that it was just one dimensional. And yes, you have experts in their field, but then you miss the part of, okay, well, what about, how do they do that? Like, you're a mom, I'm a mom. I have 2 teens. How am I doing sports and running a company and starting up a nonprofit and simple? Because I don't believe in balance. I know that there's going to be a time where I'm laser focused on one. I am very present with my kids, and that's something that I am proud of. We make sure we make time for dinner. She Built Success is not just about business. It's about life. Life holistically, life 360.
So what we want to do is to be able to begin to create content that is real.
Yes.
Some of my most successful content has nothing to do with my domain expertise. It's those posts when I share my wife and my kids and my personal experiences.
Yes.
A week and a half ago, my daughter got accepted to high school.
Yes, congratulations.
It's an amazing STEM and honors program.
Yes.
And I caught her in a surprise video and I shared that, and that's traveled all over every platform.
Wow.
It traveled on Instagram and on Facebook as it should, but it traveled well on LinkedIn as well.
Wow.
So that kind of personal content,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we want people to know, like, and trust us.
Right.
Yes, you're going to share content on your domain knowledge, but you're going to share your personal content too, because it humanizes you.
Exactly.
And it makes you relatable. It makes you real. It makes you authentic.
As I reached my 30s, I think my definition of success really started to evolve a lot. And, I started to think about monetary success was still important because, in my opinion, there's a lot of things that you can get done from the, nonprofit, maybe governmental angles. But, for the most part, I felt like monetary success was still important to be able to make big change. Like whether you want to donate to cancer awareness or you want to donate to this, like, you see a lot of those impacts being made by people that have a great amount of wealth. So that was always still a priority.
Yes.
But then I started to really check in on myself, like what kind of legacy do I want to make sure I'm leaving as well? And what is my purpose in life?
Yeah.
And, so at this stage I was working like crazy in consulting, and working like 80 hours a week. And so I really had no time left for anything else.
Yeah.
So I was like, is this success? Like just working? I mean, I have a lot of money, but I'm like always working.
Yeah.
I really don't have a lot of like, social life. And like, sometimes I feel awful because I feel like I'm losing connection with the people that matter the most to me because I really don't have time. Everybody like when people say Lola, Lola's always busy, and I'm like, maybe some people consider that to be a good thing, but it really started to get to me. And I was just like, I don't want to be this person that's always busy where, my cousins can get to me, my nephews, my niece, like they can't get to me because I'm always busy. I'm always on go.
Right.
So I just really started to think about what is the balance that I want my life to look like, right? What do I want my life to represent? And I remember calling a colleague about, I want to say almost a decade ago now, actually maybe 7 years ago, introduced me to this Japanese principle called Ikigai. And I want to say it's been life-changing in a way. It was a framework that helped me put my thoughts into context, right? Before that, I had all these scattered thoughts about, what I want my life to look like and what purpose is. And that framework, I'm a consultant, so I love frameworks. I know. We love us some frameworks, okay? So I was just like, okay, I love this framework that can help me put everything into context.
Yeah.
So, the 4 quadrants of Ikigai talks about, at the center of purpose, you have 4 things that defines it. You have what you get paid for, right? So you find what you get paid for, what you enjoy doing, your skills and abilities, and what the world needs. Right. And if you can find something at the center of those 4 quadrants, you find purpose. You found purpose. And it's not like you're going to find all those things in one thing. Like it doesn't have to all come from your work or from your family life. It's just finding a balance in your life that represents each of those 4 quadrants. Right. And it just started making me think about success in life in a different way, in a different light. And I was just like, am I checking the box on these? Not checking the box, but like, am I fulfilling, am I doing areas. Those things, right? Like, and I found that I actually was doing some of those things, but I just needed to kind of like eliminate some of the things that maybe was not a part of my purpose in my journey. Right. I think over the course of just doing too much and wanting to be as successful as possible, I had taken on so much. I was mentoring this person and doing that. Mentoring is good, but I was doing so much of it. I was doing all of it. I was on this board. I was serving in this community thing. I was doing that. I was just like, okay, you know what? Let me find the thing that really, really moves me and dedicate my attention and my true intentions to it. Yeah. And and I felt like, okay, once I started doing that, I literally built I have a spreadsheet for everything. Girl. Let me tell you, I have a spreadsheet for everything. I'm a spreadsheet what I'm gonna eat for dinner. Like that's my life. Yes. I spreadsheet everything. And so, of course, I had my Ikigai 4 quadrants on spreadsheets and just started to think about what are the things that really move me. Really, I want to represent my legacy. And I think also as we get older, the word legacy is so important because like, you start to think about it a lot more. Yep. Like, I would say personally, I haven't really had a life of living completely for self, even though I don't have kids yet. I've kind of just always, thought about my family and my community, all that stuff. Yeah. I think generally though, when we're younger, we are living for self, right? So, but as we start to get older, we start to think about, okay, what legacy do I want to leave behind? Right. Like if I have kids and if I want to, impact, my community positively, how do I want people to talk about me? What do I want to live on? Right. That I have either influenced or created after I'm no longer here. Right. And so I thought about my mom a lot and how people my mom passed away when I was a teenager. But till today, people still tell me, your mom paid for my school fees. And that's why I was able to go get this education. Wow. Yeah. And I'm just like, wow, this woman's legacy
still going.
Yes, I mean,
yes,
of course,
yes.
I'm a representative
Yes,
of her
yes.
legacy as well.
Yes.
And so I'm like, that was my first lesson on legacy. I'm going on and on, but
no,
stick with me here. I'm
yes,
gonna land.
no,
I'm land in a second.
I'm here and listen. I'm all for it.
So it was just that thought process that and of course I thought about great people in our community. People that have paved the way for me and us. To be here, great women, like great inspirational leaders. Right. You name it, like they've left a legacy that would never die. Right. Right. They could have passed on 200 centuries ago. Right. But they've created things that lives on. Yes. Yes. And they have, whether they've changed voting laws, they have made it possible for women to be able to get equality. They've made so many other things, so many things possible, right, and that's their legacy. So I'm like, Lil Banjo, what's your legacy? Being a consultant and making a certain amount of money, that's not your legacy, girl. Like, so you need to really have a come to Jesus moment with yourself, right? Yeah. So, and so success for me really started to evolve from there. And my definition of success started to evolve from there. And I decided that doing something that I love and passionate about, of course, that still earns me, a living and ability to live comfortably financially, but it's something I enjoy, and also I'm able to impact the world, like impact others. Yeah. I don't have a grandiose sense of self where I think I'm making this big difference in the world, but I think we can all do our part in a small way. Yeah. Whether you're impacting one person or two people, like, those people can go on and create things that may impact others. And so your impact multiplies from there. So, so I'm like, as long as I'm doing those things, then I feel like I'm living a purposeful, successful life. Yeah. And so I would say for the last decade or so, I've been focused on really that definition of success for myself and building this legacy. And we'll talk about how Silver and Rightly fits into that. But creating a legacy for myself that's beyond me, and I'm really proud of the journey I'm making, but it's a continuous journey. It never ends. Success is always going to be dynamic. It's never static. So, your definition of success in your teenage years is different from what it's going to be, when you're in your late 30s,
But building success takes time. Building success takes clarity. Building success takes vision, and being willing to humble yourself to be put in a position to get help. That's plain and simple. Can't do it all by ourselves. And it did take me some time myself to get to the point where I was comfortable with asking for help. I am typically the type of person I'm going to do it myself. And because I don't want to be disappointed in results, and I'm just going to do it how I know it should be done. And I learned that in taking that on, I am burning myself out. I am not able to spend the time with my girls. I learned that years ago, and now, completely different story. I do not try to take on the world. I do try to conquer it, but I don't try to take it on. I do delegate. I have a team behind me, both personally and professionally, and I challenge you to do the same. So defining success in monetary, in life, in richness, in hobbies, in health, write it down. What do your relationships look like? Do you have meaningful relationships? Or are they all surface? Are they all #blessed? What is it? Are you showing up as you? Fully, authentically? Are you flipping a switch and code switching? That's not my jam. And I challenge you to drop it and come into your multifaceted self. The how we'll continue to work on together through strategy, through guests, interviews and discussions, through episodes and conversations with just you and me. I am excited to continue She Built Success.